Okay, we have a beautiful marten. What I'm going to show you is how to case skin a marten or mink or any mammal really in a way where you have the paws left on and you case skin it rather than cutting it down the center. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make a small incision in the pad of its foot. So right kind of in the pad of its paw, you're gonna make a small cut. And you're gonna cut along the line of its leg right to its butt, right to its vent, for lack of a better word. And it can be tricky when you get to the ankle. You don't want to rush this part because it's very easy to slip with your knife and accidentally cut your fur somewhere you don't want it. So as you approach the ankle, try and get over it. Without cutting yourself as well. There, I just did it. And cut all the way along the leg. Don't cut too deep because you don't want to cut into that muscle if you don't have to. Cut all the way to its butt. And we're basically there. There we go. See, that's it. That's its butt right there. You want to cut right up to it. Now we're going to do the same on the other leg. Again, right at the pad of the foot. The skin is very tightly, it's almost like glued right to its ankle, so you have to be careful there, getting around that part of the leg. There. Follow it down its leg, sometimes in a clean swoop. I take my time. See how I'm not cutting into that muscle? That's gonna save you some time in the long run, so you won't have to flesh your animal. If you can leave everything on the body, on its carcass, rather than taking it with you on the pelt, save yourself some time. There. We've cut to its butt on both sides. So the idea is to actually cut around its butt. See how I cut around it, so I'm not taking that part with me. And mink and marten have glands in there, so it's not fun when you nick a male mink's musk gland. Let me tell you what, that stinks. And you have to then proceed to the tail. You want to cut right along the tailbone and be very careful on this part. You can't just leave the bone in there. Some people will just cut the bone and leave that meat in there, but that will rot eventually. Now, one thing to mention as you're doing the tail is make sure you don't get twisting with your knife along its tail. It can get very disorienting to determine whether or not you're cutting it evenly. So check yourself with that. Don't try and cut all the way down at once. You really have to go piece by piece with this. See right there, I went a little crooked. I fixed it though. I have found that if you take 2 pens or 2 pencils, and once you actually skin the tail, you can actually kind of pin the bone under those 2 pencils and pull the rest of the tail off when we get to that point. There. I think I just went all the way to the end. I did. Excellent. This is where it gets a lot easier. We're getting very close to the meat and bones of it. From here, you just have to peel the skin off of the meat. Once you've made those cuts, it actually goes pretty quickly. Again, be careful around the elbow because it's almost like the pelt is cemented there or super glued. Okay, as you get to the foot, go back to where you made that first incision, and really you want to go all the way up through the pad of its foot. Like that. And then you want to very carefully, slowly, and pulling right from the base of the fur, peel that foot, the skin of the foot, off of his fingers. You want to do that until you reach the knuckle. Get each of those knuckles exposed. There we go. That knuckle is the weak point, and the toes are really just bone. So you actually leave the toes in there, and once you get it far enough down that you reach those knuckles, take pliers or scissors. These aren't really the best tool that I have, but it's what I have on hand. And just cut that right off. Voila. There, his foot is still there, but you've effectively skinned it. Then do that for the other foot. Now, I'm going to cut the rest of that butt off. See, and I just cut open into a gland or something, and I don't want to get any of that on my hands. Once you've cut the tail, it should come off relatively easy, but you want to make sure you're always pulling it right from the very base of the tail. And see, as you get to the thinner areas, watch out, because you're gonna start to have this sort of thing going on. This is where this little trick comes in handy. Bam, you see that? Pulled the bone right out of there without ripping the pelt. I actually think it works better than these because a marten's tail is too small. This doesn't fit for a marten. And then once you get the genital area off of there, you can pretty much just pull the pelt down to his elbows. And at this point, I'm going to hang the marten so that I can pull from both sides. Okay. Like I said, you can pull right down to the elbows. And that's what we're talking about right there. You start to see its arm. When you start to see its arm, you can pretty much just stick your finger in there and pull its arm out. And try and get in the crook of its forearm and its bicep. And stick your finger through there. And pull its feet. And you want to basically do the same thing. Pull till the knuckle. But be careful because its paw in there is actually bigger than the fur, so or than, you know, the skin, this little tube here. So it's gonna want to start to rip if you're going too fast or not pulling it right from the base of where it meets the muscle. And if it makes it easier, cut along your way. Wherever you have the skin meeting the muscle, there's one. And there. Now we just have the head. This is one of the more difficult parts of skinning the animal, but hey, you're almost done. You want to pull the head carefully until you start to see the ear cartilage. See that right there? That's the ear cartilage. What you want to do when you see that is go to the beginning of the cartilage, right there, and cut fast and very straight. You don't want to angle your knife. Cut straight and deep. And there, you've got the ear canal still intact. Or the other side, and do the same thing. Now we're gonna have to do the same thing to the eyes. And you know you did it right if you get the eyelid. It's kind of hard to explain this part, but voila. If you manage to get the ears and the eyes right, the rest is easy peasy. Just keep cutting and pulling. If you pull too hard right here without any cutting, you're just gonna rip the face. You have to cut the skin away from the muscle or the skull. And there's his lips starting to come out. I find it helpful to actually open its mouth here, because sometimes its teeth will kind of block you. And here we go. Beautiful marten pelt. Every square inch of fur that was on the marten is still on the marten. I'll turn it inside out so you guys can get a good look. I hope that was helpful. At this point, you'd want to stretch it get yourself a stretcher board like I've got here that I did this Marten on. It's kind of a different topic. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a little heads up on my next video. It's going to be an in-depth tutorial on how to tan a small pelt. And I tried to figure out how to do this for a long time when I didn't know how through YouTube. And I really feel there's a lack of quality, educational, demonstrational videos on how to tan pelts. It's something that I think I can produce a video that would be very helpful. So look forward to that. I hope you check it out. I'm so glad to be making videos again about the things I love to do, trapping. I used to have a channel when I was younger, the 80K Trapper. Maybe you're a new subscriber, or maybe you've found me from the past. I don't know, but my name is Garrett. I'm 23 years old, and I'm not doing this to try and gain subscribers. This is really just such a huge part of who I am. I want to find my tribe and kind of rework myself into the community that I was once a part of here on YouTube, and meet some interesting people, learn some interesting things, and embrace the fact that I know I'm a teacher in these regards. So I look forward to seeing more of you soon and sharing more content.